Peter DeBoer with theflyfishers.com, and today we're tying the first in a series of steelhead flies. We're going to tie Cliff Watts's Kilowatt pattern. This is a great jig-style fly tied in the spirit of an egg-sucking leech. We're going to start with a Daiichi number 2 90-degree jig hook and some pink Danville 4-strand and a lead-eye. Having attached the thread on our Kilowatt, I tie in a set of medium-size lead-eyes with a set of figure-8 thread wraps. I'll continue the figure-8 thread wraps here until I have solidly attached my lead-eyes. Don't worry about number of thread wraps here. What you're looking for is a secure connection on your lead-eyes. I've mounted the lead-eyes on the inside of the 90-degree bend of the hook here. That gives us a really secure connection and helps to keep the lead-eyes from moving back and forth at the bend. I will, though, just for security's sake, add just a little bit of glue here to firm up and solidify this connection. Having secured my lead-eyes with glue, I'll proceed to wrap thread back along the shank of the hook to the tie-in point of my tail. To start the tail of the Kilowatt, we'll use 20 to 25 strands of your favorite color of Flashabou. In this case, I'm using a black, blue, green blend of Flashabou. The holographic Flashabous work really nicely as well. We just want something that's going to provide some really great flash and color contrast in the water. I'll size my Flashabou tail roughly on the shank of my hook. It can be a little longer than the full hook's length at the bend. The tail can be generous in sizing. And I'll attach this with a pinch wrap. Securing the fibers with a couple of nice solid wraps. I can then proceed to cut the Flashabou. Trying to cut it as straight as possible here is important, and keeping those ends as straight as possible is a good idea because we'll see this same hunk of Flashabou come back again on the wing of the fly. The second part of my tail is a Marabou feather. I use blood or woolly bugger Marabou for this. And after having placed a half hitch over my tinsel, we'll proceed to tie that in. Again, I'll tie the Marabou blood feather in with a pinch wrap. Once I've got it solidly attached, I can then proceed to fully tie it in with a number of really solid wraps. Now, rather than cutting this Marabou, as many patterns that involve a Marabou tail instruct, I like to use the rough part of the Marabou feather as an underlining for my body. It gives the body a little bit of bulk. It also gives the tail a great deal of strength. All too often with a Marabou-tailed fly, a fish, sometimes even our first fish, can just pull the Marabou right out. In this case, we've got it securely wrapped and it prevents the tail from coming undone. The body of the Kilowatt will be built with a large cactus chenille in a peacock color. And I've taken my piece of chenille and teased out some of the fibers, exposing the core of my cactus chenille. This will give me a really secure tie-in on that chenille. Tying in just the core with a pinch wrap, at the same spot I concluded my tail, will secure that material real firmly 4 or 5, maybe even 6 wraps is not overkill here. And then we can carry the thread forward to the point that we cut off our marabou feather. A little half hitch will secure our thread here. Make sure we've got an anchored tie-off point for that cactus chenille. I could wrap this cactus chenille forward using the rotary function of the vise. However, in this instance, I actually like to hand palmer cactus chenille because I get a little bit bigger volume by teasing back the fibers in each successive wrap. And in this case, particularly for a steelhead fly, when we're could be fishing in heavy current or off-colored water, having a fly that's got a little bit bigger body translates into a little bit bigger silhouette. Bigger silhouette makes it easier for the fish to see. The more the fish see my fly, the more likely I am to catch them. Just continue to wrap the cactus chenille forward until you've reached that tie-in point near the end of your marabou tie-off. Holding the cactus chenille tightly in my fingers, I'll tie off 3 or 4 times, making sure I've caught that cactus chenille under a number of thread wraps before cutting it off. Another half hitch here, really seal the deal. Give us a real secure connection. And now, before building the collar, I'll carefully come in and trim all my stubs.